Okay, so good morning, my name's Scott Taylor and this is my colleague Helen Dobson, and our Pecha Kucha titled No Country for Old Librarians will describe how the University of Manchester Library has responded to seismic changes in the scholarly communication landscape. We'll describe how we've abandoned the traditional academic library model of subject teams and established function-based teams, including our team, Research Services.
So just to be clear, by old librarians, we mean those with responsibility for particular subjects, descendants of the scholar librarian, those who traditionally provided access to knowledge by opening the gates to their collections or by teaching the skills that enable their users to find information for themselves. And that was kind of enough in the old world, but in the modern world, the traditional focus just isn't.
Today's academic librarian needs a new vocabulary. Zotero, Mendeley, Plosphere, JF1000, Altmetrics, Retweets, Open Access, Academic, Spring, Fincher, Peromio, Greenaway, Goldaway, Preprint, Postprint, Libra, Gratis, Text Mining, Research Data Management, APC's Archive, Creative Commons, Bibliometrics, H-Index, to name just a few of the words we now need to know.
Until the summer, this was our library structure, and it had been this way for about forever. So it was 5 departments and further subdivisions within. So within RLS, we were 4 subject teams, 2 specialist support teams, and this reflected the structure across our faculty at our university. And in effect, we kind of became partisan librarians delivering very bespoke services. And I was a partisan librarian supporting modern languages in the Faculty of Arts. So kind of this time last year, what I was doing really was teaching information literacy and ensuring access to core texts for taught course students. And when I talked to research staff, they really wanted to talk to me about their teaching and not their research activities, which was a bit frustrating.
And for the past 4 years, I was an analyst on the team responsible for our university's institutional repository. Don't be too upset by the picture, but this small team provided research services to the entire university. We being based in the IT department meant we had very little opportunity to collaborate with librarians. We provided good value considering the size of the team, but it was clear that supporting researchers in this way was unsustainable.
So broadly speaking, university libraries' missions are to support teaching and research, and we claim to do that too. But in our old model, there was a lot of inconsistency in how. Our institution is very large and very complex, and like the faculties, the schools within the faculties, we were delivering policies at a very local level. We couldn't really contribute to demonstrate our contribution to the strategic goals. We needed a new direction, so we started a restructure. We looked at ourselves long and hard, we looked at the sector, and the evidence that we found during our review kind of backed up what we were already thinking, that we were touching a lot of areas, duplicating effort, but in others, 4,500 researchers, we weren't reaching at all. So our deputy librarian broke down the old model, started building a new one.
The result of the restructure is a bold new model consisting of 3 function-based teams, each team offering a consistent suite of services across all faculties. The Research Services team includes 5 academic librarians, plus in the restructure my role was moved across from the repository team. The hope was to combine the strengths of a technical team with the traditional strengths of an academic librarian.
Well, librarians are multi-skilled and resilient, and we've needed particular strengths in order to survive. We're adaptable, we're flexible. We're problem solvers, good communicators, with information management skills to die for. But what will be equally important as we move forward is our very rare position in our institutions. We're impartial, we take the long view, we keep out of internal politics.
And generally technical teams have a project-based approach, hence they're often agile and better able to adjust to the changing and emerging needs of users. Also, it's probably true to say that technical teams are culturally and more used to change. Being in a state of constant review means they're very strategic in their approach. Our new team will need these analytical qualities as we develop our primary services. The first of which is Manchester eScholar. Our team has taken on the customer support function for our institutional repository. eScholar is a high-profile service within the university and is integral to the REF and other internal auditing exercises. We'll also be supporting the 1,000 postgrad research students who are required to deposit an electronic version of their thesis to the system every year.
And the university has asked for our help in increasing the visibility of our research to increase citations and the institutional reputation. So we'll be working with individual researchers to develop their publication strategies, asking them to reflect on their current practice and to consider the wider publishing landscape. And where policies mandate certain behaviour, then we have an advocacy role there too.
A dedicated bibliometrician is working within the team to develop a new bibliometric service for the university. He'll be using external data sources, plus our own institutional repository, to monitor and disseminate internally the university's citation levels. He'll also be analysing the data to help managers set realistic targets for increasing the number of times our research is cited.
The funder mandates have made research data management a hot topic, and it's our 4th key focus area. We're lucky that at Manchester, projects Madam and Miss have been investigating this issue for a while. And one of the outcomes of those projects is a support service. And at the moment, we're gearing up to launch an interim service in January. We expect that one of the main challenges will be persuading researchers that this isn't research data management. So those are the areas that we'll be covering, and they'll feed into our strategy, which is currently in development. We're seeing some very ambitious targets being set already, and we know that we'll need to work across teams and departments in order to achieve them. But in our new structure, that's going to be much easier because we've got the time to focus on specific areas and gain that in-depth knowledge that allows us to guess what we need.
Ultimately, our strategic goal in this area is to be seen as expert research partners rather than just a support service. We need to be able to listen, develop, deliver, and then repeat the process in order to maintain this partnership. Equally, our researchers have to be able to trust us to be the experts in our own domains. Our aim is to provide value by enabling researchers to spend more time researching. So by bringing together the strengths of academic librarians and institutional repository management, we feel like we're much better positioned to deliver value and contribute towards the wider strategic goals of the university. Like this bendy lady, we're much more agile than we used to be. We're now ready to move forward and develop the breadth and depth of research services required of us in the post-Finch world. We're under no illusions that there are plenty of challenges ahead, and the learning curve we're facing is significant. We're still in the transition to the new model, and it isn't going to be all plain sailing. Fundamental changes to people's roles, the need to quickly upskill, natural resistance to such large upheavals all pose their own challenges. But most importantly, we can't let our customers down as we move through this process.
So like a reality show, what we've described is the journey that we're on. We're packed up and we're moving away from the old country. In the new model, we're in unknown territory. We're pioneers now, exploring the frontiers at Manchester. It's not barren terrain, there are opportunities emerging, and we'll seize them because we're librarians and we know something about preservation. Welcome to our new world.